The real secret to verbal game: say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. Again, the real secret to verbal game: say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. Let me just say this real quick because I'm noticing some of you guys, you do too much. You say too much. You talk too much. Like you have guys trying to tell chicks they just met, yeah, girl, I can't wait to take you to the crib. Yeah, I'm gonna pick you up and carry you across the threshold. Then I'm gonna gently put you down and grab you by the hand and lead you to the bed. Then I'm gonna pick you up again and lay you down and gently stroke your hair while I caress the inside of your thighs, girl. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, that's how dudes be sounding. And I'm like, bruh, you're doing too much. You guys are doing too much. A lot of you guys, you think having verbal game is like you in some fucking poetry reading contest, with some fucking similes and haikus and all that other shit. No, bro. Just have a real, genuine, authentic conversation with these women. Stop the bullshit. Stop the bullshit. Stop the bullshit, guys. A lot of you guys, man, you need to say less. Like for real, say less. Stop all that goddamn talking and just get to the point. The real secret to verbal game: say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. See, a lot of guys they talk about, oh man, I just want to know the right things to say. I'm gonna give you a clue as to what the right thing or things are to say. Just say your truth. What's really on your mind? What do you really want to do with that young woman you're talking to? That is the right thing to say. See, a lot of you guys, you're focused on, well, how do I say it? Instead of focusing on how do you say it, why don't you focus more on getting the nuts to actually say anything at all? How about that? How about you get the fucking nuts to actually tell women the truth at all? See, once you get the guts and the fucking nuts to tell women the truth about about what you really want, then we can work on your delivery. We can work on that then. But at least get to the point where you're being a man out here and you're letting women know what it is, when it comes to what you want. That's where it starts. It's not about, man, how do I be smooth with these women? No, the question is how do I stop being a pussy with these women? Because I'm gonna tell you, if you wasn't a pussy, you would have been telling women. And see, the calls that we really should be getting is, hey, everybody on the panel, man, I've been getting at these chicks, but I'm a little rough around the edges. But I ain't scared though, man. I'm out here telling these chicks what it is. I'm just a little rough around the edges, so I just need to clean it up a little bit. Can y'all help me with that? See, that guy, oh, magnificent. He on his way. Because at least he's talking to women. And at least he's being straight up. Okay, even if he's rough around the edges, at least he ain't being a pussy about it. He's taking action instead of waiting to be spoon fed words so he can gather up the confidence to take action. He's taking action on his own. And he's just asking for assistance along the way. Right? In other words, guys, you got to get the fuck up and go outside and talk to women and then come back and ask for help. Not sit at home and never go out and just sit around asking for things to say, but you never go outside. Go the fuck outside. The real secret to verbal game: say less, mean more, let her imagination do the work. I got 3 stories. I told all of these 3 stories before. You're going to hear these motherfuckers again. And I want to point out something, and I want to see if somebody figures it out. There is a common theme in all 3 of these stories. The real secret to verbal game say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. Let me just say this about a woman's imagination, her sexual imagination. It's not about being poetic with your words. I mean, if you got the gift of gab and you do that, do what you do. But I would tell you guys who do not have the gift of gab, stop trying to do that. Stop trying to do that. Like, get some coaching. And let me just say this, it's not going to take a coaching call or two. That's not how it's going to work. A lot of you guys need extensive work. A lot of you guys need to be scheduling consultations every week, at least 3 or 4 times a month for a year. A lot of you guys, oh, let me schedule a consultation once every other month. That shit ain't gonna help. You need to be scheduling consultations 3 or 4 times a month for like a year straight. But again, how bad do you want to succeed out here in the dating game? Your investment, your level of investment, how committed you are to investing in yourself shows, you know, it's on you though. The real secret to verbal game, say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. So, first story. I had a client, I don't know, a few months back, maybe about 4 or 5, 6 months at this point. He he was doing a consultation and he was talking about this young lady he met at a costume party or a Halloween party. I don't recall which one it was. Because you can have a costume party and it not be Halloween. So I don't recall if it was a Halloween party or a costume party. But regardless, he met this young lady at this party. They hit it off. They started making out at the party. All right. At some point in time, one of the lady's friends came and, grabbed her. She wasn't rude or anything. She just, hey, I need to borrow her for a little while. And then the girl told him, well, I'll talk to you later. And then boom, right? She was out of there. And he was upset with himself at first, right? Because he's like, Zag, I had her right there in my arms. We're making out. And I wanted to tell her so bad what I wanted to do. But at that time, I just didn't have them. And he admitted that I didn't have the balls, right? And then, as luck would have it, now when I say as luck would have it, it's not about him being lucky. It's about, as a man, you can only be so lucky to get an opportunity to redeem yourself. Because as a man, all we ask for is redemption, right? We're imperfect creatures. We make mistakes, right? Redemption. Let a nigga make it up. I'm gonna hit it out the park this time, right? That's how a man should be thinking. Give me another opportunity. I'm gonna do it better and I'm gonna do it right. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, as luck would have it, he runs into her again the same night at the same party, right? So they saw each other. They ended up, making their way, across the room, and they ended up making out again. This time he told her, "You want to go fuck?" And this was her response: "Yes." I kid you not. You want to go fuck? Yes. He didn't hit her with no, I want to do all of this fly shit to you and rub you down. And no, he just said, "You want to fuck?" And she said, "Yes." And they fucked in the bathroom at the spot they were at. They didn't go to the car or a hotel, his crib or her crib, bathroom. They fucked right then and there. All because he said, "You want to fuck?" Because she wasn't going to say it. What do I tell you guys all the time? Women have private thoughts. When you meet them and you're talking to them, they have private thoughts. Now, either their thoughts are going to be sexual in nature or they won't. But either way, they have private thoughts about you. So when he said, "You want to fuck?" and she said, "Yes," he revealed I had a private thought about fucking you, and now that you said you want to fuck, I'm revealing to you, surprise, that was my private thought. I want to fuck you too. All it took was for him to open his mouth and be a fucking man. He ain't have to be smooth. The real secret to verbal game: say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. And here's the funny part: this is what guys don't think about. You don't think when women go to parties, Halloween parties, costume parties, when they are on vacation and they're at parties, for all my people that's ever been on, any cruises, I've been on, Royal Caribbean and Carnival, quite a few times. Those chicks want to fuck. They want to fuck. Women want to have sex, and they're very imaginative. Women literally have sexual fantasies about what it would be like. Damn, if I go on a cruise and, what if we're in a jacuzzi and it's like late at night and there's like nobody in the jacuzzi but me and this guy that's been eyeing me all night, and we end up just fucking in the jacuzzi. Because I'm gonna tell you, on those cruises, that's exactly what be happening. The people that go on the cruises be fucking the people that work on the boats, and vice versa. A lot of fantasies be going down. This is what people don't understand. And women have them. Women have a lot of them. And it just takes the right guy to evoke that. And if you say the thing that's going to trigger that imagination, she will let it do the work. You ain't got to say a lot. Less is more. Get to the point of what you want to do, and then let her imagination do the work, assuming she's interested in you or attracted to you. Now, again, earlier, right? So I'm gonna hit y'all with 3 stories. I just told y'all one. There's a common theme. There's a common theme. See if anybody catch it. So the other 2 stories said many a times, but there's a common theme, right? So a couple weeks back, a few weeks back, whenever it was, I did a video, and in that video, I talked about how I was playfully flirting, not sexually flirting, with this young lady that was at this basketball camp, right? And how I playfully teased her about smacking her in the face with an empty water bottle, and how she told me that made her wet. And the funny thing about it is, she wanted to go have sex in the car. She wanted to go fuck right then. And I'm like, no, no, no. We can do that later, not right now. But my point is, and I said this in another video, when I tapped the water bottle against her face and I said what I said, you don't think her sexual imagination took her to being smacked in the face and dominated sexually? You don't think her sexual imagination took her there? And all it took was for me to say something that I never even intended to imply any sexual interest on my part. I was just being myself, just playing around, joking. But guess what? There was a common theme that was there in that interaction that was also present in the interaction that I told you with the client at the party. There was something that was present, right? The real secret to verbal game: say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. Final story. Oh, y'all ain't gonna believe this one. For 99% of y'all gonna be like, he lying. Ain't no fucking way. Y'all gonna be like, this motherfucker lying. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. But go back and check the archives. I told this story and I tell it the same way. There's no way you can remember a lie for like 7 years, right? So the very first time I had a threesome, right? Very first time. And there's gems in this story for all you guys that are always overly concerned about approaching more than one woman. So I'm 21 years old, mind you, because I don't want nobody using age as a fucking excuse. I'm 21 years old. There was no YouTube. I didn't have no videos to watch. I didn't have no mentor sitting me down, giving me the game. Everything I learned, I was out there getting it, just being a man about it and telling women what I wanted to do. And it was happening for me, right? The real secret to verbal game, say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. So again, 21 years old, first time I had a threesome. So, boom, I'm at this little nice spot. I'm making my way through the crowd, just getting a lay of the land, right? Just seeing what's in there. So as I'm making my way around the bend, right, I see two Latina babes, two thick joints. Right now, it just so happens that one of the chicks was more attractive than the other one. Both of them were cute, right? Both of them was cute. Well, I'll be honest. One was fuckable, and the other one was like, I want her. The other one was like, yeah, she's fuckable. But the other one was like, I really want her. All right. So as I'm making my way around the bend, right, I'm dipping in and out of the crowd because I see them too, and they thick joints. I'm like, I'm making a beeline. I'm passing up all the other chicks, like I'm gonna go holler at them, right? So, but I wanted the one in particular because my original plan. Let me just say this real quick. Let me slow it down because I want guys to get this. When I talk about being adaptive and adapting, when you guys hear me use the football analogy, when you call an audible at the line of scrimmage, you're changing the play because you see something going on with the defense. Oh, I got an audible. I see something going on. I got to adjust, right? So I'm telling you a story where all that shit is happening. So boom. So I see these two young ladies. As I'm getting closer to them, it just so happens they happen to be looking up or scanning the room, I guess. So my eyes lock their eyes. So both of them looking my way, I'm looking their way. All right. So as I'm rounding the bend, they're turning their bodies. Both of them are turning around, looking where I'm going. Right. And I'm trying to get around all these people. So they're following me. Like both of these chicks' eyes is following me. My eyes is on them the whole time. So we're all looking at each other the whole time while I'm trying to get to where they're at. Right. So finally I get right there. And as I'm walking up to these young ladies, they're looking at me, smiling, and they're whispering to each other. Now, I'm telling you that for a reason because I'm noticing all of these things at that precise moment in time as a young 21-year-old. I'm noticing. I'm like, huh, interesting, because they're whispering and they're looking and they're smiling and they're whispering and they're giggling like little schoolgirls, right? And I'm like, huh, interesting, right? So again, my initial plan was to, introduce myself to both of them and then separate them and holler at the more attractive one. But right as I'm about to introduce myself, right, that giggling, that smiling and whispering to each other, that shit gets heavy as I'm walking up. It gets heavy. So boom, I introduce myself to him, right? And it hits me like a ton of bricks. Right? Bear in mind, I'm talking about the giggling, them whispering to each other, right? It hits me like a ton of bricks. Like instantly, as soon as I walked up and said, "Hey ladies, how y'all doing?" And I go out, and when I go to introduce myself to them individually, it hits me. I think I can hit them both. Like that. It hits me. I think I can hit them both. It was the energy. Not only was it the energy I was getting, right? But in my head, at that precise moment in time, I'm thinking back to all the giggling, all the fucking whispering. I'm like, I think they already talked about it. I think they already talked about sharing a motherfucker tonight. I think they talked about that shit. Right? This is what I'm thinking while I'm talking to them. So this is what I do. I adjust, I adapt. So instead of separating the two, I said, fuck it. I'll just keep them together and I'll just holler at both of them at the same goddamn time. The real secret to verbal game, say less, mean more, and let our imagination do the work. So let me get back to the story that y'all just can't believe, but it's true. So when I introduce myself to the young ladies, right after that, I say something along the lines of, so ladies, what are y'all getting into later on this evening? Or I said something like, so ladies, where y'all headed later on this evening? I say something like that, right? I don't remember exactly what I said verbatim, but whatever it was along the lines of, what are y'all getting into? What are y'all doing later on this evening? Something along those lines, right? And their response, both of their responses, almost in unison, was somewhere along the lines, we're going where you're going or we're doing what you're doing, right? My response to that was, well, hell, if it's like that, let's leave right now. And that was the extent of the conversation. That quick. The real secret to verbal game: say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. Now, here's the key: all three instances had this one main thing in common. Y'all ready? This is the key to everything. This is the key. All three of those stories or instances have one main thing in common that made everything happen the way that it happened. The women involved in all of these stories, they were already sexually attracted to the guys already. Y'all see that? See, the problem with a lot of you guys, this is why I say a lot of guys have a remedial understanding of attraction. Right when you meet a woman, they are assessing you for sexual desirability now. Sometimes a woman knows instantaneously whether or not she wants your dick. Sometimes that might take her a couple of minutes to talk to you of her coming to the conclusion whether or not it's something she might want to do. But sometimes they know pretty quickly. The problem with a lot of you guys is because you present the fake version of yourself, the indirect, passive, scared, following women version of yourself. Women aren't really sexually attracted to that. So guess what? You don't really get those vibes. And that's your fault, right? See, when you approach women confidently, with self assurance, when they begin to form a perception about you, their perception is different based on how you approach them. Now, that doesn't guarantee that sex is going to happen necessarily, but I promise you this: there have been guys who women would have fucked, but they said, damn, he's cute, but he's too passive. He act like he's scared. Like, I know he's attracted to me, but he act like he's scared to show it. So that means he must don't know how to fuck, or he must have a small dick. Y'all don't think women think that about y'all? When a woman is attracted to you and you take too long, y'all don't think some women think he must don't know how to fuck. That's why he's being scared. Or he must have a small dick. Or maybe he's GAY. Because a warm-blooded heterosexual man who act like he want me, there is no way he would be this fucking passive and indirect and scared to tell me what he wants. There are women who think that about you and they will reject you on the strength of that they think you are a fucking pussy. Meanwhile, dudes at Halloween or costume parties is fucking in the bathroom. Meanwhile, dudes is at basketball camps playing playfully flirting with mothers. Chicks wanting to go fuck in a car. Meanwhile, dudes is pulling up at nightclubs having threesomes with chicks they just met because motherfuckers ain't scared. The real secret to verbal game: say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. Guys, it's not about saying the right thing. It's about saying the thing that's true. Tell the woman what's really on your mind. Let her know what you're thinking. so she can let you know what she's thinking. The real secret of verbal game. Say less, mean more, and let her imagination do the work. Real game, no theory. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. Peace.